So what is up everybody, welcome once again to my YouTube channel, and today we are starting a new series on the channel. It is my attempt at league racing, as I just found a league race for the PC with some other guys, so I am expecting to have very competitive races. So we just can see our setup right now, and let's go down into the qualifying session. So I was having a very good lap. I feel like we are hitting every apex, but going downhill into turn 8, we brake a little bit too soon, as I was still learning a little bit of the track, and I got an invalidated lap time, which, well, it is a shame, because now I will have to wear the tires even more for a second attempt. So let's just go down to that said second attempt. So we now go for our second qualifying attempt, as we just did the last corner and go down the main straight. There is not too much for the driver to do other than opening the RS and just waiting for his braking zone, which is usually around 150 meters away from the corner. As we reach that point, heavy braking into turn 1, 7 downshifts as we go into first gear, and a very tight exit of this corner as we mount the curb on the exit of turn 2, and we now go uphill into turn 4, which is a very crucial corner on this track, and we just missed the apex, which compromises seriously our lap. But still we have to go down into turns 5, 6 and 7, which make up this very fast chicane, and we go downhill into the hairpin that is turn 8. We clip the apex of it beautifully, maximizing the throttle application on the exit, as well as we prepare for this very tricky downhill on the left hand of corners 8 and 9. And now we open the RS and relax a little bit as we prepare for the very fast entry of turn 10, as we approach it with very high speed, and we just do it too high speed as we go over the curb on the outside and lose a couple of tenths as we prepare turns 11 and 12 over 280 kilometers per hour before the entry of turn 12. But now we are using the slipstream of Rogue to its full effect as we wait for the 100-meter marker board, mounting the curb a little bit too hard maybe on the entry of the last corner, as we cross over the line to post a 1:32.8, which puts us in P7 for now. So a great lap on the softs in my opinion. But unfortunately we were not able to qualify in top 10. We qualified P15, as I found that there are some drivers who are running assists. This is open in this league because obviously not every driver is at the same skill level. So I understand that, and well, we just have to deal with what we did so far. So let's dive into the race, shall we? According to my watch, it is Sunday evening, and what a better time for some racing action as we travel to the desert for the second round of this league. It is the Barhain Grand Prix. So today we have the perfect conditions as the skies look clear and the drivers prepare to take their seats. So let's dive onto our cockpit for the race, shall we? As now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go for the Barhain Grand Prix, as well as a little bit of ground to the Red Bull of Rogue, who is slicing right between Shady and So Good as we approach the first corner. Shady very careful on his brake very early, and hopefully I get cleanly around this first corner. Ash Bandicoot ran wide, and Rogue got attacked by someone and is spinning around, and So Good got tangled with soft lock, and I managed to pick up the pieces and am now up to P9, but unfortunately I overtook soft lock under yellow flag, so I need to give the place right back to him, as we are now approaching the beginning of the second sector, as we approach the turns 5, 6 and 7 and go downhill into the hairpin of turn 8. There's a little bit of a tangle with one of the Ferraris and a Renault in front of us. It is widescreen Jamie, I think, with Dildo Schwaggins, and Schwaggins getting very wide on the entry of turn 9 and losing the position to the Ferrari driver. as we are still right behind Softlock, waiting for him to do any mistakes. Talking of mistakes, it is Schwaggins going very wide at the entry of turn 10, and Softlock is now side by side with him at the beginning of turn 11. There is contact between the two of us, and the Renault smashes into that Rolex sign, which was my reference braking point, which is going to hinder me through that corner throughout the whole race. But still, I pick up the pieces and go in the first corner, in the first lap, I mean, from P15 up to P8, but not with another charge from the Renault driver, who gets P6 away from me. But still, a very, very good opening lap, as I'm now on the slipstream of the Renault, and maybe I can pull something off. I'm side by side with him at the braking zone into turn 1, a diving maneuver on his inside, squeezing him a little bit wide, and I get P6 to close a very good opening lap. So we are now at the start of lap 3, and as I approach the braking zone, I brake too early for this corner, way too early. And Dildo Schwaggins got the opportunity to get around the outside of me in turn 2, and he gets his 6th place back from me. So I may try a move down the inside of him at this corner, but I do not have the space, even though he broke a little bit too early for my liking. But I did not have the space to try any moves there. We are now in lap 4, and I'm getting pressurized by our teammate who spun a couple of laps ago. But in practice, he was half a second faster than me due to his assists, due to his traction control. So I just let him by. I had no deal with him, at least at this point of the race. He was much faster than me, so it was only going to hinder us if I held him up. So we are now at the end of lap 5, start of lap 6, and we are still right behind the diffuser of Dildo Schwaggins. We open DRS, but he can also open his DRS as we go by some cars who are starting to go into the pits, and we do not have the space to try a move once again on the Renault driver, as we have Crockett with the first retirement of this race. He was having some leg issues, I believe, and he just decided to retire, as we still do not have the space to do a move on the Renault driver. We are now in lap 6, and this time surely we are going to have DRS, and he won't, because Omer is already at least 3 seconds up the road. But Dildo goes into the pits, so that saves the work for us, and we go up into P2. So at the moment it is a 1-2 for Manor, as now Softlock tries a move on our outside but does not have the space, even though he tries the same maneuver at the end of lap 7, and he is much closer to me than he was a while ago, and he will have DRS this time, and I won't, even though I am on rich mix. The Mercedes-powered Mercedes is very fast in a straight line. Under the braking zone, he is already side by side with me, and he gives me the space, but I do not have the traction or the power to go alongside him through the rest of the second corner, and he gets P2 from me, and once again I do not have the space to try any sort of maneuver on his inside or his outside at the end of turn 4. So at lap 9 we change the set of softs into a set of mediums, I think, as we are followed into the pits by Ash Bandicoot and Chisel on his Ferrari, setting the fastest lap of the race so far. We are changing onto a set of mediums, 2.4 second pit stop, which is not bad at all, and we are going to come out of the pits in 13th, I believe, as El Nabo and Schwaggins are both battling for position, as they both got the undercut on me. But as they are battling, maybe I can pick up some pieces from it, from any contacts that may occur, as we now open lap 11 with El Nabo side by side with Dildo Schwaggins, and the Portuguese of the Mercedes not able to make his move stick just yet, but I think he will try once again at the entry of turn 4, this time around on the outside, doing the switchback on the Renault driver, and he's side by side with him. Unfortunately, he loses traction at the exit and cannot make a move stick. So once again, the Renault driver surviving the charge of the Mercedes of El Nabo. But look at how quickly I caught up to them, I'm now very close to the Portuguese in front of me. As we approach turns 8 and 9, the Volkswagens and El Nabo do not make that corner as quickly as they could. Unfortunately, I lose the back end, which cost me some tenths to my compatriot there. And we are now in lap 12. There is someone coming out of the pits. It is soft block as I get contact by El Nabo there. And apparently on his screen I was behind him. So we had that contact due to lag. But right here I didn't even flinch at the sight of Taboom, because we are contacting on Discord and I knew he was going to get out of the way, but still a very dangerous close quarters racing there as we are lapping that back marker, and that cost me some tenths on the chase of El Nabo. And Softlock gets tangled with Dildo Schwagens, and both Portuguese drivers get promoted to P8 and P9 respectively, as some other drivers dive into the pits, and we are now on a Mercedes sandwich with Softlock very closely behind us, as I lost some grounds to El Nabo. And Softlock might try a move for my P5 as he goes around the outside of turn 1. And this time he does the move once again around the outside, makes it stick. But this time he has the superior traction, not only for the softest compound on his tires, but the fresher compound on his tires as well. So I do not have the space once again to do a move to come back at him, as we are now followed by Billy Greenham, who was the pole sitter for this race, and he is just much faster than me, and I just let him by because I was not on the same strategy as him. I was just doing my own races at this point, and as you can see, he is very quick, just posted the fastest lap of the race. And now we are approaching turn 1, and there is some tangles between El Nabo and Billy Greenham, which are going to help us approach them, at least in the long haul, if they have any damage, as we dive into the pits at the beginning of lap 21 for a set of the super soft tires, as we had saved quite a bit of fuel during this medium stint, as we very rarely went into the rich mix. So we now have approximately +1 lap of fuel spare, and we are going to push as fast as we can as we get out of the pits right behind of Softlock, who did once again the undercut on us. But I'm going to be much faster than him due to the tire compound difference, as we are now starting lap 22. And take a look at the gaps. It is 1.1 seconds behind the Mercedes driver, but I will have superior traction as we have another close quarters moment with Tabumir, even though we managed to get DRS and be very fast in the charge of Softlock, as we are now less than 4 tenths away for the Mercedes. Driving into turn 1, we do not have the space to do a diving maneuver, but I only wanted to get some pressure on the Mercedes driver, just notify him that I am still there and I'm charging for his place. As we now approach turn 4, and Softlock is very slow under braking, his tires are quite starting to go off, but we still do not have the space to make a move on him, which might change at the end of lap 23, as he tries to avoid us to make us not get as much slipstream as we could, even though I do not need that at the moment, as I have rich mix and dive on his inside. He touches me, which almost makes me spin, but I have better traction as he loses the back end, and I'm now side by side uphill on the run into turn 4. So we are going to be the last of the latest breakers, and are now side by side. We pick the inside line, we get touched by Softlock, and we lose the back end, which is going to cost us track position once again. But we are much better on our tires, and we have a better line through that chicane section. And coming out of the hairpin, just look at the amount of traction I had over Softlock as we go into turns 8 and 9, and he loses the back end and the braking, which costs us his position and almost costs his place compared to the Ferrari behind us, as we are now in P7 and charging to catch up to El Nabo, who I know had a penalty, but we are still being followed closely by the Ferrari of Chisel, as he will now have DRS, and he may try a move on us at this corner as we approach 100-meter marker board, heavy braking, and he does not have the space to try any moves. But right now he will have very speed, as he gets a better exit than me out of this corner, as he has fresher super softs. As we go side by side into turn 1, heavy braking, he has the inside line. I tried to do the switchback, but it just has better traction than me, so I was not able to get back on him. Even though on lap 26, Shields is now overtaking El Nabo, and we are now trying to pick up some pieces that might occur from some contact between the Portuguese and the Ferrari driver. And just take a look at how close we are to El Nabo right now. I know he has a 3-second penalty, or even more. I know that he has at least one penalty, but Chisel also has one, so I need to overtake El Nabo without losing much time to the Ferrari in front of us, because we are still under 3 seconds of the Ferrari, so he might get up into P6, I believe, here. And I'm very quick compared to El Nabo, who is on very old medium tires. And we are now starting the last lap of this race, and we do not have the fastest car right now, as our tires are starting to go off as well, but we are still very quick in a straight line and taking the advantage of the slipstream of El Nabo, even though he might have rich mix at this point of the race, while I'm not trying to run out of fuel by still being in the standard, because I know I have better grip in the corners, and the slipstream effect might help me overtake him in the straights. So we are now heading into turn 8, and I brake too late compared to him. I was not expecting him to brake that early, but apparently he did not have any damage, neither did I. But that could have been a lot worse than it was, as I will have now a DRS at the exit of turn 9, and approaching turn 10, he gets a better exit than me, which got him a few meters of advantage, as I now brake later than him once again and make that round right back, as we are now on turn 11, and El Nabo will be very slow, and I was not expecting it, so I get scared and I completely miss my braking point, and I get overtaken right back by El Nabo, and that distracted me so much that I didn't even notice that I was still on rich mix, and so it will I will run out of fuel on the main straight, and as you will be able to see, we are going to overtake El Nabo upon crossing the line, but we are 3.5 tenths away from Chisel, which means that by 5 tenths we won't be able to overtake the Ferrari driver upon crossing the line due to his penalties. So we are now watching the Red Bull of Ash Bandicoot, a very shy display from both the Red Bull drivers, as he is quickly followed by I think it is Shady in the Toro Rosso, claiming 10th place, I believe, as we are now following Dildo Shreggins, who had some good battles with us, but he got tangled with Softlock and couldn't quite recover his ground, and well, he finishes outside the points, as he was up in P5 at one point in the race, so it has got to be disappointing of a result for him, as we now jump into the race results, and our teammate wins the Barhain Grand Prix after a DNF in Australia. A very good display from our teammate, who was followed by Speedkiller and Juno to complete the podium positions. We finished 7th, right in front of El Nabo, and Crash Ash Bandicoot and Shady complete the top 10. So, for the championship standings, we have Billy Greenham, the Lone Williams, leading with 37 points, followed by Chisel in the Ferrari, who has 26 points after his 6th place in tonight's race. After a DNF in Australia, Homer 2B jumps to 3rd after tonight's win. In 4th, we have the first of the Force India, Juno, with 19 points, followed by Speed Killer, bouncing back from a DNF in Australia to bring home 18 points with his 2nd place today, a very good showing by the Toro Rosso driver. In 6th, we have the 2nd Force India of Alex with 15 points, 3 points ahead of Ruben and Soy Good, who are tied for 7th with 12 points. Then we have a 3-way tie for 9th place between both Red Bulls of Rogue and Ash, as well as Widescreen Jamie in the Ferrari, all of them with 10 points. In 12th, we have the only Mercedes to have scored in this league so far, El Nabo, with 5 points, followed by Enzim, the other Sauber, who has 2 points, and the last of the point scorers is the 2nd Toro Rosso in Shady, who has only 1 point. Moving on to the constructors, we have a tie for the lead with 37 points between Williams and Manor, who catapulted themselves on the back of Homer 2B's great race and Ruben's 2nd 7th place in a row. Only 1 point behind the pair, we have Ferrari, who finished tonight's race with a very solid result, and are very closely followed by Force India, who sit in 4th, only 2 points behind. Then there is a 14-point gap to Red Bull, who are 5th with 20 points after a shy display from both their drivers, with their sister team Toro Rosso following by just 1 point. In 7th, we have Sauber, who not have scored in this race, followed by Mercedes, who only have the 5 points that El Nabo was able to bring home so far. And yet to score, we have McLaren, Haas and Renault. So next up, we will have the Chinese Grand Prix in the Shanghai racetrack. So I am hoping to see you guys there, and have a wonderful day.